lasts for 8 hours.
Awesome.
Wow.
Alrighty, let me get this control box out of my head.
We're so ready. Wow.
Alrighty.
This is for you, Hancock. This goes out to you.
Hopefully it's working.
Yeah. I hope you just arrived Disneyland safely.
Yeah. Your family is well. We spent a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Found the deals. Alright. We're live at 2:25 and 4 seconds.
So the time starts now for Heart of Darkness. So the question is it racist or not? Which I feel like is a loaded question because either way you answer it, it's just politically loaded.
Why is that loaded?
Just because racism is a touchy topic. But.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why I could be wrong, Dr. Hancock, but it seems like that's why he, it's weird saying you. It's why he has like all the questions the way they are because they're very divisive, you know?
Like you could go either way and still be wrong.
Yeah, or right. That's the beauty of being an English major.
Okay.
There's no right answer.
Ever.
Beauty and the horror of English majors. There's never a right answer.
Yeah.
So I think it is racist because it does not, like Achebe says in his article.
I don't know.
I think it's Achebe, but
Achebe, baby.
Beside the point. He talks about how even though imperialism, he was trying to attack it and show people how horrible they were being in the Congo, they didn't actually like give people from the Congo a voice, and that's why it's racist. So I think it's racist.
Me too. I think that's racist, and like along with that, like most of the explanations about the environment of Congo is based on the white man's perspective. So we could kind of see that like his mind stream, like how he thinks about Congo, and then like, it's related to the like he kind of talks about how barbarian they are, and then how like I don't know, so bad the environment is. So
what do you got?
So I need to preface this statement with I am a white male. Straight white Christian male. That's just oppressor classes just all over. So like I am the pinnacle of oppression. That being said, my understanding of racism, I didn't think that it was racist. But it also it depends what we're talking about too, because like what is racism? So I think before we like continue, we should define like what racism is.
For me, the racism comes from the words they use. Like, you know, every word has its kind of like level of harshness and like kind of like glorifying some kind of like object. But every time I read certain kinds of like, I don't know, like phrases or the environment in Congo, he kind of uses negative terms and kind of like super, I don't know, like, not cool words. Like, you know.
Like, horrible.
He could just like state it simply that those Africans or those Congo people, but he uses barbarian or, you know, all the animals or monsters.
Wild. Like.
And you're saying like Marlowe.
Marlowe. The speaker, the Marlowe. Yeah.
Okay.
So, the racism for me is the use of language.
Yeah.
He used to, like, he speaks in a pretty, like, downsizing kind of thing?
Like down-putting or like
So putting down till like 450 or 250, not 450. That would be forever.
I might need to call you in just some nights.
Sure.
Just in case.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
We're in the studio
and we're back.
So this is not our place of work. It is Doe's.
It's my workplace.
So we just
the other group just took the classroom already. So.
They didn't just take it; they colonized it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Imperialists. Anyway,
Also, I'm not texting. I'm looking up racism. So just to keep this going.
I think it's also ignorance, like not knowing, like even though he witnessed some horrible things, like he's still not on the receiving end. So like for him to talk about like their narrative, their story, how like it's kind of like pompous, I feel like, to be like, oh yeah, like I've seen it, like now I know exactly what you've gone through and we need to stop all this, which I don't think like going against imperialism is bad. Like that's not what I'm saying, but just also he can't completely say he understands. So that's like technically racism.
True.
Technically.
I feel like racism is part, I mean, it's definitely, it comes from ignorance, but it's more like you're actively going out and like doing things, or like you view your race as like better. You view other races as inferior, and you're like actively, I don't know, like affirming that idea that one is superior than the other. Because like you're saying that because the natives or whatever they're called in the, I don't know if they have like a tribal name, because they don't have a voice in the book, that the book is racist. It's like, I think that the book itself is not racist. It's just showing, like, definitely the people, like the people in it are racist, but I don't think that like Joseph Conrad is a racist, like writing this book. So I don't like think that the whole message of it is racist, because he's showing like a bad version of the world. Because like a lot of, I mean, I'm sure that lots of people that write books, they don't think like, oh, like this is how the world should be, you know. It's just like, it's an imaginary situation that people experience. So I don't think that Joseph Conrad is racist.
No. But like this book, in my opinion, is racist.
And I have a different opinion, that I think that Joseph Conrad is racist, because like people like don't like announce themselves like, I'm a racist, you know. They all come from the unconscious, and then even though he tried to write it in a nicer way, but like his unconsciousness like has a racism like perspective in it.
Yeah, like you probably don't know that you're a racist. Maybe people do.
Like racist can be like looking at the other like ethnicity in a negative way, but there's like another perspective like, oh, the white people are the best, you know. That can be also racist.
I guess is racism, like we were reading about before this, it was just readings and articles, like they were like, oh, we're gonna go to the Congo because it's like a Christian duty, you know, like is that racist in and of itself? Because you're thinking, oh, like our God is like the most high and like the most benevolent, and we need to like help these savages or whatever, you know, like isn't that kind of racism in and of itself? Even though you're not like, these people are bad, just thinking of yourself as higher as somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like that's more like culturist, you know?
Maybe.
Like if you, I mean, okay, it's been rough historically, black people no matter where you live, but I'm just saying like, if you were to adopt the culture of like their religion and stuff, I feel like they, even if you were black, it would be better than if like you would be better in the society, like you'd be better viewed in society. So it's not like purely racism, like because you are black, like I'm viewing you different. It's like, I think it's a culture thing with the religion at least.
Yeah.
Because like, it's because you're not our religion. Because like there was still lots of divisions between Catholics and Protestants, like forever. And that was just based on religion. That was their racism. That was like their way to divide themselves. But it was like, you could look white, but you didn't believe in their church, and that was like what split you.
So racist.
But again, what does racism mean?
Yeah, like I feel
did you find out the definition?
Well, so Google says we can work with this, but noun: prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. I don't even think that you need to think that your own is superior. I think it's just like viewing any other race as like in a hierarchy.
And like just being ignorant, you know, like of cultures. Like, I don't know, like people get picked on for being different. If like you're in like an all white community or whatever, like other races get picked on, even though it's like not one specific race or like white people are better. It's just like,
Or even the stereotypes can
Yeah.
be racism. Like white people tends to be just have fun, like do sports, and like
Yeah.
like the Asian people like to study and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But they can be also racism, even
Yeah.
though it doesn't have any negative connotation in it. But still,
Maybe there's different levels of racism in this
Yeah.
book, right? So like the people in it are racist. They literally like enslave the people. Like you can't deny that the people that
Yeah,
are
the people are
beating-
totally racist.
Yeah, like in the book they're racist. And then like Marlowe maybe is like a different kind of racist where he like respects the people but not enough to give them a voice, right?
yeah,
And then what's his name? Conrad is a different kind of racist that just like still doesn't understand the culture, but is still trying to help by writing this book. So it's like it's getting there, but we're still racist, you know? That makes sense?
yeah, totally.
So still working through this.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, there's more definitions.
Yeah.
I think
you
we should
gotta
just.
go through them.
So one is again like prejudice, discrimination, antagonism directed at person or like because of the race, and then the second one is the belief that all members of each race possess characteristics or abilities specific to that race, especially so as to distinguish it as inferior or superior to another race or races.
They give an example.
Theories of racism, the worst sample sentence of all time.
Awesome.
Okay, so they're both like beliefs, though. You know.
Okay.
So, can we agree that racism is like a belief that someone has?
Yes.
Okay, and it has to do with ordering people based on race.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, yeah.
So that's the definition that we'll work with. So, does the heart of darkness perpetuate the belief that people are like in a hierarchy based on race? Is that like the question we're working with now?
I think now it is, but before it wasn't.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
what is
Oh,
racism?
yeah.
We have to figure that out first.
Yeah.
What is the heart of darkness?
Yeah, it's not like a broad topic to discuss. Like, what is racism?
What is racism really?
I feel like Conrad was probably not that racist. I mean,
Well, yeah, he's trying to help him out. He's not like, yeah, screw the Congo.
well, I'm just saying, like,
Can I say screw the Congo on this live broadcast?
whatever.
I'm sorry.
It's a private.
It was
Yeah,
it was a
right.
quote. No, I think this is public.
Okay.
Oh.
Well,
But probably
even better.
You were
Hank
quoting a
was-
hypothetical,
Yeah.
and you were saying what he is not saying. So it's okay.
I don't think he was, out to get the people of the Congo. Like, I'm going to write this terrible novel. It's going to make him look so weak. I think he was trying to help. So,
I think if he was actually racist, though, it would just be a manifesto. You know, like, if you're trying to write something out of hate, it usually is just a political speech. That's
but can you be racist without meaning to be?
so. If we're operating under the idea that racism is a belief, or like
But it could be an
discrimination,
unconscious belief, right?
I mean, if you're acting on it like discriminating based on race, though, like it has to be based on race. So you have to be like at least conscious of that, right? Because like, what would you say is his
If you've grown
unconscious
up your whole
racism?
life with like slaves, like don't you think you unconsciously, without somebody telling you you're better than them, like don't you think you would start to think it?
Yeah, but I think
Yeah.
it still comes from like a belief. But like, what belief do you think that he has that he's perpetuating through his writing?
I think he's perpetuating like how he views the people of the Congo as weak or like can't help themselves, like like, and maybe it's true. Like I really don't know. I haven't researched.
like a belief of imperialism. Like
Yeah.
they try to preach the like I don't know positive sides of their dominant countries to the like the developing countries, like to help them to make roads and like new ways of living for their like better lives. Like in here, like when you read the textbook, it says there's a couple of lines saying like there are so many environments that they don't even use. We should use it,
Yeah, we'll just take it.
Yeah,
And-
they're total silent. There's like the lands and trees all everywhere, but they don't use it, kind of stuff, I guess.
So what I would call that is like ignorance, but that's again like the character's ignorance. I don't think that's Conrad's like ignorance against the people, because he's just writing it. I don't think there's really any grounding for it, especially like a lot of Black writers will write about really bad situations that they've been in, like gosh, what was that one? Cry the Beloved Country? Like just the whole like South Africa. Like it talks about race issues, but it's like it's just showing the race issues, you know. And I think that the silent characters, it's a part of it. I don't think he's trying to perpetuate the belief that the people from the Congo are silent or like that white people are superior. I think that he's just showing that that's how this society was working. And
At
so
the
like
time.
yeah, and so like the characters are totally racist. Like they're in their own little world, but I don't think that Conrad is racist. Because like he was, this is kind of a like jump, but like he was Polish under Russian rule. So I'm sure that he was like, oh, you know what really sucks? Imperialism. And so like he's just showing like a version of imperialism that is like silencing people.
Yeah.
So I guess in our discussion we should divide the author and the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just focus on the book, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Conrad might have been racist. Like, I don't know.
I don't know, but it's like all about intent, like how he meant it, and I don't think he meant to be like racist, but I think he was against imperialism, so that's what he was going for. Like, and he went to the Congo, like he saw it, and I don't think we should discount the fact that horrible things happened, and he saw it, and he tried to stop some of it. So it's like, you can't hate the guy. Yes, you can, but I don't know.
Are you controlling the audio in here?
What?
Are you controlling the audio? Right.
Can you just
Ghosts.
pause it?
Sorry.
Riley's not-
Sorry.
We're back.
There's ghosts in here.
Jokes.
There's ghosts.
Also, I wanted to talk to you guys about like, so if it's racist, not saying that it is, but if it's racist, should we discount it as a work of literature? Like, where's the line that we draw? It's like, well, you know, like if we determined, if somebody was like the all-knowing literature queen or king or whatever, they're like, this work is racist, then like, do we still teach it, use it as a classic? I think it's a great classic.
So assuming that the book itself perpetuates racist ideals?
Yes.
Or just that like Conrad was a racist? Because
Not Conrad. Not
I mean,
talking
like
about Conrad.
Walt Disney was like pretty anti-Semitic. Just like we should never watch Toy Story because it's about.
I think separating Conrad from the book, like
Yeah.
it's kind of like the Huckleberry Finn thing. Like
Mhm.
some schools have banned it because it says the N word in it. You know,
This book says
Oh,
that word in
really?
it.
it does. Yeah. So schools have banned it.
Wow.
I think it's a shame, but
My school is not one of them.
me neither.
We
It's
had
a
to read
recent
it.
thing. It was a recent thing.
We actually talked about it though. Like, I think it must have been going on when we were talking about like, is it racist like to have it?
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. Like, I don't think that Mark Twain was trying to be racist. And it's like, I think he's just showing how people talk. You know?
Yeah.
Because he
I think
was
so.
around it. You
I
know?
agree. I think we should keep it around. Keep reading it. Like, I think it's still of merit, okay? Even if it's like he was showing racism, like I don't think he's perpetuating anything. Like, I think we can look back at it and see, wow, like Joseph Conrad might have been a little racist at the time. But like, we can still learn that imperialism is bad. Like, there's still different sections of that book that,
Is
helps
imperialism
us.
bad?
you know, I think so, but you know,
Me too. Yeah, my country is a victim of imperialism too. So
Guys, we're here in the United States of America because of imperialism.
yes. I was
We'd be
thinking
back
it's
in
like
we'd be back in Britain. Actually,
we'd
I would
here
be
in Britain.
I would be in
Drinking tea.
I would be back in Britain.
We're here. We'd migrate still, probably. Anyway,
I'd
it's
be
here
in,
nor there.
in Germany or Norway, speaking another language, eating whatever they eat in those countries. I don't know anything about.
Wiener Schnitzel.
Gosh dang it, I'm an American.
I don't
All right.
know. I think he was trying to say imperialism was bad, to rephrase the thing. So, anyway.
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's definitely downsides.
Yeah.
A lot of genocide. For sure. Well, so if the book was found to be by the Queen, that it did actively
Yes.
perpetuate racist ideals, I feel like it would be, because it's like there would be something else that would be better to read that could teach the same things. Like,
Yeah.
we don't study Mein Kampf in
Yeah.
school.
Like, yes. Yeah.
That's why I don't think that it's racist in itself. It's because it's like it's showing a racist world. It's not like trying to
Yeah.
promote a racist world.
And I think Achebe argues that like Joseph like did not know the narrative, so for him to tell the story is unfair. But I think that's kind of unfair of him to say, because it's like at the time that's who needed to tell the story, right? To get the word out about imperialism or like racism.
When you say the narrative, what do you mean?
Like the oppression of these people. Like they had a story before the white man like came over, and
Like their
history.
traditions and
Yeah.
history?
Mhm.
Okay. So you're saying like Joseph Conrad isn't in a place to be like,
That's what
all of a
Achebe is
sudden-
saying.
okay, but yeah, like
Yeah.
that Joseph Conrad isn't in a place to just like show up and be like, oh, this is how their life is like, but that's just him like viewing it.
Yeah, like you're still viewing, like if I was just like, let me tell you about Jackson, you're still like, I don't, like you're not me though. Like I could probably make assumptions about how you feel, or like if somebody was beating you up, I'd be like, well, that probably hurt. Like, but like you'd still be like, I'd prefer to tell the story because it's from my point of view.
So what should have happened, like in Achebe's point of view?
That like, I don't know, just he kind of critiques him for doing that. I think that he also critiques the African people for not getting their stories out there, but it's like, how can they? Like, it's a catch-22, y'all.
Well, yeah, it's like the people that it's going to go to, or the people that Achebe wants it to go to, the people who need to write it are those people,
Yeah,
you know?
like the
Yeah.
people who need to write it. Or
So, for
in the
example, if there's like a story of, what was it, Uncle Tom's Cabin,
yeah,
but the author is like a white woman, so this book cannot be the. Okay.
Yeah. It's just like Conrad would have had more exposure to like English literature. You know, he was
Right.
able to just better marketing. Just has better advertisement and better exposure than somebody from the Congo. You know?
I agree. So it's a catch-22. That's
Yes.
Decide, guys, is it racist or not?
And should we also need to find some examples in the textbooks, or?
Oh. Well,
Oh,
we use the Cheve. Come on.
I brought some examples. It's in the textbook.
We'll do a speed
but I
round.
didn't mention the date.
Yeah, speed round.
alright. Get the
Okay,
Okay.
so for me, like a couple of examples that I found, because my perspective of this textbook is racist,
Mm-hmm.
and I understand that like this book can be like doesn't, because like, they don't know the author's true intention, and also the readers can read in their own ways.
Yeah.
So in my own perspective, the reason why I found that this book is racist is from 1970, to page 1977. It talks about the Congo and the condition of it, and then like while I was reading this phrase, I thought about the imperialism, like, you know, the John guy from our reading.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
The John guy.
yeah,
Ruskin?
John guy.
yeah, the guy named John, he thinks that the imperialism is the best because it brought some, like, a better educations and stuff. So there's a part that says in the 1977 at the end of first paragraph says the high stillness confronted these two figures with its ominous patient waiting for the passing away of a fantastic invasion. Like, for me, like, the part of fantastic invasion, like, yeah, definitely has a imperialistic, like,
view of it.
No. And maybe
That's Marlowe talking, right?
yeah, it's a Marlowe. Yeah.
Okay.
So just like based on the book. So
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, and there was the other one. It says like on the 1979 on the second the second line of the second paragraph. It says like Czech could form a conquered monster. So like he depicted the African as a monster. It's also
even though they're being abused, they're like the monster. It's just like horrible.
So yeah, maybe the book is trying to just state the fact that what at that time of people think about the conditions of the Africans and the slaves, but just like it gives a connotation that like you know like when people read it, that okay, I guess conquered monster is African, so like they try. It's easy to get the I don't know impression of I like Africans, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Any backlash on that one?
Yeah, since you're the
Against your
What?
Oh, if that's all we have.
Well, it's just like it goes back to the same issue. I don't like keep repeating. It's like
It's
I
a
don't think
circle.
that
yeah.
I don't think that Conrad is trying to be racist. I don't think even like the story has to be racist. Like just because the people are racist, you know, like the racist characters can teach you something. Like you don't read the book and you're like, man, this Marlowe guy's great. Like he's just such a great guy. Like he's not portrayed as like a hero.
You're right.
Like if he was and he was super racist, that would seem like a racist book. But it's like everybody in this book is kind of just a dirtbag. You know, nobody's like great.
Sounds like the
Nobody's.
postmodernism.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think it can be racist because it's not clear cut. Usually racism seems like, oh, like this is the way it is, and like obviously like slaves are like below us and like we're on top and this you know?
Yeah.
But like the people think that way, but I don't think that that's what the psyche of the actual book is like trying to say.
Sure.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
So
I'm going with not racist.
I'm going it with inconclusive.
Take a stand or qualify your statement, Carly.
I think it's a little racist. Just a smidge. Because like what I've said before, like you can't just generalize this whole group of people. Even if it is portraying them a certain way, like even if it's like not hurting them, it's still wrong to take somebody else's story and skew it how you want. Like, I don't know.
How would
I'm
you
getting
portray
twisted in my words.
people? Like, how do you have stories about groups of people?
Yeah, like that's the thing. It's like, is it all racist? Is it all of it?
It's not even just about being racist. Like, if you write a story that's like somewhat autobiographical, like at some point you're going to be telling somebody else's story.
Yeah, so.
That's just life, man. It's like everybody has like a very deep existence in their consciousness, but like I'm just going to reduce it down to like, oh yeah, that's like she is to me.
Right. So that's what Achebe is saying. I'm just quoting him. I'm just saying what the man said. Perfect.
Okay, since time's up.
Gotta go. We hope you
we
enjoyed
can't
this
talk
broadcast.
Case closed.
Case closed. Hancock, have fun,
Watch
but not
it.
too much fun.
Walt Disney's anti-Semite.